So in the finance world, there's a saying, don't be in a position where you can't see the wood from the trees. And this is really important because quite often business owners will really delve into a set of accounts, reports for a business and try to understand every tiny little thing about them. And often because there's only a limited amount of time to actually look at some figures, what happens is people that are caught up in all of this detail often don't have time to take a step back, look at the bigger picture and try to understand the story that the information is really telling us. So this video is about just giving you a few handy pointers that you can actually use to make sure that you're always in a position to look at the bigger picture and you don't get too caught up in the details. Firstly, accountants get taught this a lot, but I think it's really important for business owners as well. So really understanding the concept of materiality. As a business owner, you should have an idea in your mind what number is important to you and what a level of number is not important to you. If you're in a multi-million pound business, you may have come to the conclusion, I don't really want to be using my decision-making energy on anything lower than £1,000. Whereas if you're a much smaller business, you might say, actually, I'm interested in anything over £50. So having an idea of materiality is a really good way to then make decisions about what kind of figures you delve into and which ones you make a note of, but don't look any further in because you want to then get on and look at the rest of the numbers and understand the bigger picture. The second one is, I just mentioned it, but make notes, because quite often if you are flowing through a set of financial statements or you're in a meeting with an accountant and you're absorbing this information, then one of the things that is a really good idea is, instead of interrupting the meeting to go over tiny little details, sometimes it helps just to document or in the action points all the things that you wanted to follow up on, which you then potentially provide as an email rather than having to interrupt a meeting where you might have a higher level conversation to talk about the details. And really, part of being able to see the wood from the trees, I guess what it means is notice there's a wood there, not just a group of trees, that the trees are the minute details, the wood is the bigger picture, is just try to set all of your information and reports up in a way where it gives you a very summarized level of information. In a way, with financial information, quite often less is more. Like, if you can have a one-page document which tells you everything you need to know about your business, that is far more valuable than having an entire report pack. Having not just thinking about materiality and what size of number is important, but also having to think about which specific bits of information are really important for the strategy in your business. That's a really important one from the beginning, because then that means you're only really looking at the right information for the decisions that you want to make or need to make. So that's the bulk of it. Obviously, details do matter, but then you've got to have people you trust to get those details right. You've got to have other people in your team looking after specific details so you can look at that bigger picture. That's the gist of this video. Like, ultimately, make sure you're always looking at the bigger picture.